Would you believe it's that time already? It's Monday night, and it's time for BlissFull, hosted by your very own Deborah O'Brien. BlissFull, here every Monday night on New Earth International. Here she is herself, your host, Deborah O'Brien.
Hi, everyone. So nice to be here tonight. I am so excited to have a very special guest for you tonight. My dear friend, Judith Kravitz, has agreed to be my guest, and I'm so excited to share her with you. If anyone has read my book, Bliss Behind the Mask, you know in my book, surrender and the breath are such important things for me, because the day I was dying, it was the power of the breath and the power of surrender that saved my life. And then years later, many years later, I met Judith, and I was lucky enough to take some workshops on transformational breathing. And during those courses, I learned how to breathe such a fabulous way of breathing that my life was transformed from then on. And I owe you so much, Judith, and I thank you for coming on the show. And I was just wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself for everyone that maybe doesn't know about how you got started. And I can't hear. I can't hear you.
I'm going to take the headphones off.
That's great. Yeah. Great.
All right. So I began my journey with the breath almost 40 years ago. It was a situation where I had been in Northern California and had been working as a metaphysical minister, and someone who was doing some of the earlier rebirthing came to me as a client, and we did some trading, and in that moment I sensed how powerful the breathing was, and she just said, you should use this with your work. So I began to integrate breathing into the ministerial work I was doing, and then at some point I just started getting a lot of inner guidance as far as how to work with the breath and essentially evolve it. Not too long after that, I found out that I actually had a throat cancer, and was kind of up against a situation where was I going to do the allopathic route? This is the 70s, you know, and alternative medicine wasn't all that was happening, and my guidance was very strong to walk my path, and I knew at that point that the breath was the most powerful tool that we had, and energetically. And so I began working with the breath the way I knew how to do it at that point. And I won't go into the detail of the healing journey, but within about 3 or 4 months, the tumor was gone, and I knew that the breath had led me on that journey. And during that time, I felt like I had gotten a miracle, and that I wanted to share this with the world. I didn't know what this was exactly, but that took form very, very quickly. And now we're doing transformational breath and have programs in over 20 countries, and it's growing faster than any other breath school in the world. So it's amazing what's happening, but it's a journey that brings people back to themselves, and that's why it's connecting so much with so many.
Oh, it's wonderful that you can do this work. You know, your book, it's such a great title, Breathe Deep and Laugh Loudly. I love that name. Yes. And for anyone out there that wants to find out more about how to breathe deeply, this is a great book. Judith, this really, did it take you very long to write this book?
Well, I wrote it a couple times. It was right at the time where I was being introduced to being on a computer. So the first time I wrote it on a big legal pad, and it didn't work. So then I transcribed it, and that didn't work. And then someone sat a laptop on my lap and said, "Look," and then it came through. Then it worked. That was
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the ideas were there and the information was there, but it was just sitting down and getting focused. And I had a wonderful editor, Lois Grasso, who did a lot of help with it too. So.
Well, that's great. It sounds like you were divinely guided when you wrote it, and everything you do. I feel that you are. You always have that special connection.
Thank you so much, and I feel that this gift has come to me from the divine, and I try to share it with that openness to allowing that energy to come through and train people to do that as well. So.
Yeah. And is that what you're doing now while you're in Turkey?
I am. We just finished actually a teacher training last week, and we did an initial program at the beginning of the month, and I'm headed on Friday to Italy and then to Kuwait. So
wow.
It's busy.
Kuwait.
I just love working right now. Even though men show up, it's primarily for me this journey with women, especially in this part of the world, to empower them and show them who they really are. So I feel a real strong kind of mission around that as well.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And when are you going to be back this way again?
Well, I'll be back right before Christmas, and I'll be there for a few weeks. Mostly, I'm going to be in New England in the spring and the summer. That's where I do a cycle of programs in New England, at Rowe, at Apollo, in Amherst, a whole series of our programs there in the spring and summer. So
yeah, that is good. I couldn't remember the name of the place around the Berkshires. Where we went and we did the breathing under the water with the what do you call those things?
The snorkels.
Yeah, the snorkels. And it was such an amazing experience because it was like I relived my birth. That was a powerful session. And ever since then, my life has just changed so completely.
Wow. Yeah, that's wonderful.
I got rid of so many repressed feelings, and it was able to just go on a whole other way. So I have to thank you so much.
Yeah, it's so, and it's not, it's just reconnecting with this incredible power we have, this life force we have in our breath, and learning how to free it up. And that's essentially what we do in Transformational Breath. We understand the science, we understand the dynamics of how the breath gets stuck, and then help people free it up. And that takes them on a physical, a mental, emotional, and a spiritual journey where they can just have incredible things on each of those levels. So it's such a blessing to be able to share that, and watch people's lives change before your eyes. It's really,
I know. It's amazing what you can do with your breath.
Yes.
It's there for everyone.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, everyone just is so busy. Everybody's rushing around, holding their breath.
Yeah.
And, if people just slow down a little bit and just took some time to breathe, it feels so much better and have so much more energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a secret gift that we have, and now that people are hungry for it, it used to be very much an alternative thing, and now more and more mainstream is knowing that they're intuitively knowing there's something there and seeking it out for physical or emotional reasons. But the ultimate gift is the spiritual, how it brings us to our spiritual essence and self.
Yeah. So, when I was reading your bio, I read that you've worked with Goldie Hawn.
Yes.
And I was like, well, that must have been something to be with her.
It was.
Yeah. And
because she's just a very high being, and it was, you have these Hollywood personalities, and you don't know who they really are. But this was just a very beautiful, bright light, and I, worked with other famous people. That's such an interesting world, that Beverly Hollywood world. It's kind of like, wow,
Yeah, it's wonderful that you could be there, and to be able to share your gift with so many wonderful people too.
Yes.
Like Deepak Chopra, and that's I just think he's amazing. But one time I went up to Palo and I saw Christiane Northrup, and she's done your work too, I understand. Yeah? So it's really, your work is spreading all over the world. And you're in every country.
Well, there's so many countries. No, it's still like we're just still on a horizon here, because there's so many countries. And the important thing is everyone needs to do the piece with their breath. You can't read extra books, or, there's something that has to happen with the breath, the freeing of the breath, which is the flow of life force and spirit that needs to happen for everyone. So, eventually maybe we'll just have everyone in the world breathing. It's not that hard, it's a simple thing to do, but we've had to, like you said, repress so much and control it so much to survive. But there's ways to turn that around, and it's not that hard, but people know what to do.
Right. I know. So when you come back this way, maybe some people could go to some of your workshops or sessions.
Absolutely. I totally invite them. We'll be doing something in Rowe in March, and then in Amherst in June and August, and I think September or something. I don't have my calendar in front, but they could go on our website and see all the programs all over the world, and see. Maybe they want to travel to Italy or some of the other, Mexico, some of the places that we have.
Oh, and what was your website?
It's transformationalbreath.com, transformationalbreath.com, or breathe2000.com, if that might be easier for folks.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So that anybody out there, I just highly recommend that you take a session and meet Judith. Yeah.
And learn how to have your breath as a lifelong tool, because this is what we're trying to instill in people, that it can give you so much on a daily basis. So why not get through the initial opening and then have this incredible gift that God gave us to use every day to have more aliveness, more health, more connection.
Yeah. I still have that CD, 100 Breaths for Joy.
Yes.
And it's so true. When I take the time and do the breathing, I always connect with joy.
Yeah, well, you look so joyous, Deborah. So you're rocking it, I can tell.
Well, thank you. But it's such a quick way to get joyful.
Yeah.
Just with the breath. And that form of breathing is so different than any I ever heard of before.
Yes.
How I don't know if you could give a little example of how you breathe when you do your breath.
A particular way that we breathe, that it looks like, and then we work with the dynamics of using the full respiratory system. So it's not just the breath, but it's like how we direct the breath as well, which is as equally important. But basically, we start out initially breathing through the mouth, and obviously trying to use the diaphragm so it accesses the whole respiratory system, and that there's no pauses between the inhale and exhale, and the exhale's completely relaxed. So it's just a different way of breathing, but it creates a lot of energy changes. So it kind of goes like this. Picture doing that for an hour.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it can create a lot of wonderful release endorphins, neuropeptides, just really create a higher consciousness. It's amazing.
And it does. It's so amazing. And I try to do it at least once a week. And it's like, well, why didn't I do this more often? Whenever you do it, it's like it only takes an hour to do a whole session. And oh my gosh, you just feel so wonderful afterwards. And it's really helped my immune system too.
Yes, it really does.
Yeah. It's just does so much for you physically and mentally. But it's just amazing what it does for you spiritually too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Connecting link to that level.
Right. And I was thinking, when you were so sick, how you ever was able to come up with this, how that sickness brought you to all of this.
Yeah.
If you hadn't been sick, we wouldn't even know about this breath, maybe. Isn't it funny how things happen?
Yeah.
It's like, it was just amazing how God used your illness for you to be able to teach all of us how to breathe.
Yeah.
And we're so grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wish I could see you more often.
Well, we will be, up there, and just make it a point to come and just spend some time with us. It'll be worthwhile. It's worthwhile for your time. Really.
Oh yes, it's always worthwhile to be in your presence. And the group of people that whenever I've been, the people were so wonderful too. Met some great people in all those sessions.
Yeah, there seems to be I call them angels, who are drawn to this work and help, support it around the planet. There's just, I noticed you got some angels on your board back there. So.
Oh, really? Do you see the back on my board here?
Yeah.
That's my book. Yeah, and then behind that, there's a big board. I'm at Kat's house, and that's in the background. And so usually I do my show from home right on my iPad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
technology is amazing, isn't it?
It is. It's just amazing. And to think you can do a little TV show on an iPad, it's just amazing. And it's come so far in such a short time.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was wondering, your kind of work wouldn't be anything you'd be putting up on the internet, would it?
Well, my media director's been really wanting me to get some kind of webinar together, and so it's been kind of a factor of time and what's really practical, because it's such a hands-on and people go so deep that we just have to devise something that's safe, so that if people access, the patterns, that the support that's needed is there. So there's enough really good information to share, but this is so experiential. So we're playing with it, and I feel before long there'll be some nice things available.
Oh, that would be wonderful to make it so available to so many people.
Yes.
Yeah. Although it is such a hands-on thing that I think it would be wonderful. But yeah. So, but the power of the healing, even without the hands-on, I think there'd still be a tremendous amount of power for people to learn how to breathe.
Absolutely. And we could break it down on the video, could just break it
down. Break it down on a video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be great.
Well, thanks for inspiring me. I really
I think it'd be great. You would be able to reach so many more people. Yeah. So do you have any things coming up that we should know about?
Well, there's so much information on the website. If people are at all curious about what it is, and we have incredible research going on now in different fields, medical, psychological, rehab, and there's just so much information about how transforming and healing the breath is. So, and then so many events are listed. Like I said, we kind of book out in the winter in New England, and I've got a beautiful seminar coming up in February in Florida. We do an introductory program in Florida, and so I would say that would be a nice time to head south.
Yes.
Come spend a week with us at a beautiful venue in Delray Beach, and just come in and explore the journey with the breath.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Is that for is that like a workshop, or is that a training session?
It's part of our program. Our program comes in levels, and the initial one is called a seminar, and that's levels 1 through 3, and that happens in 5.5 days. So there's one there, and there's another one in March in California. So I would say those are the closest ones in the U.S. I guess in Italy and Kuwait, and then head home.
Wow. So you travel all the time. And, I was thinking with traveling, you get so tired from all that traveling, but you never seem to. You look just as refreshed as
my days and my moments. I learned through the years how to rejuvenate myself, and the breath is a big part of it. Meditation, some stretching. So traveling isn't very glamorous, but going to the different cultures are amazing. We did our first seminar in September in China, and that was just wonderful. There was just the people there are so ready to find their breath.
Really?
They have so many. They're like the fathers of energy medicine, but they don't have the breath there, and so I feel it's going to be a new big frontier for us.
Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. It must be so rewarding to be able to touch so many lives and make a difference.
Yeah, it is, and just to stay present enough to enjoy it has been a challenge, and so I've learned to do that over the years. Not to just be able to just enjoy every breath with every person, because it's also precious, really.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah, that's the secret. Yeah. Staying present.
Yes.
Yeah. And how's your family?
My family is doing well. My son, my youngest son came over. He's a facilitator, and he came over to help me in Turkey. So he was here and loved the experience and the culture here. And I have 2 daughters who are doing the work, and then they're kind of scattered. I have a son in New Zealand, and four of my children are in California. They moved back to California. They like the weather and the people, and I have two children. They're adults, all of them, but they're they're both in New Hampshire actually now. So.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
So
I have 11 grandchildren. That's my, a real joy for me to be around them. I just love them.
Oh, that's wonderful. 7 grandchildren.
No, 11.
Oh, 11. Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that keeps you young.
I hope so.
Yeah, those kids give you so much joy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And, well, I thank you so much for coming on the show when you're so busy. And I appreciate it so much.
I'm so glad it worked out. It was kind of last minute, but it all worked out. And so it's so nice to see you again. And I love just being able to share with people how important their breathing is and how much it can give them. It's so exciting.
Yeah, and I've wanted to talk about the breath since I started the show. And I thought, well, what better way than to have Judith? And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, Judith.
You're welcome. And we will see you then this spring or summer, okay?
Yes, I would love to see you. Yes.
All right.
And I'd love to have another session. Namaste.
Namaste, your wonderful audience.
Bye-bye, everybody. And thank you all for being here tonight. And it was my pleasure and privilege. Good night.
Good night. Night, Deborah.
Good night, Judith. Thank you.
I think we'll just go this.